Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what is the first episode of A Week on the Farm. I am David, and over the course of, well, the next few months at the very least, you're going to be following me and my brother Michael as we are going to give you a bit of an insight into our little family farm we've got running here. We are in County Tipperary, Ireland, and yeah, we've got a lot to kind of fill you in on, and we're going to bring you along for the ride, just kind of give you a weekly insight into what's going on a small farm like our own, and kind of fill you in some details, hopefully get some interesting footage as well, because there's a lot to go on here really. So we may be small, but there is only two of us, with the occasional help of our father who's retired, but he does jump in now and again. Yeah, so we'll keep ourselves busy, so I thought we'd bring you along, stick a few cameras on some machines occasionally, and see where the journey takes us. Now, one of those machines in question will be this. This is that brand new tractor. It has about 1.5 hours on the clock, not even. And we are a New Holland farm, really, for the most part. All of our tractors are New Holland. They've been New Holland or Ford for as long as I can remember. And primarily because we had a Ford dealer nearby us, which then turned into a New Holland dealership. And so we stuck with that. So this is a T5 120. This is our main loader tractor on the yard. We don't have a telehandler. We don't really need a telehandler, to be honest. But we always have a good loader tractor. We have three tractors on the yard, and we'll be able to see all those in the course of this video. But this one is just picked up last night, or delivered to us last night. We've just been doing a little bit of work on it this morning, of which I am kind of taking the inaugural road trip, really. We have a trailer load of fertilizer and seed on the back, some spring barley seed, and some NPK for the grassland we have. And yeah, that's just kind of all good to go. So what we're going to do, I think for now at least, I'm just going to sling this here. We'll have a quick look at this tractor, we'll have a look at what we've got going on, and a little bit of a discussion about the farmyard, I think. There we go. So as I say, this is our yard. It's quite big. Now there's a story about this. We've only recently moved here, actually. We recently had a larger mixed farm, arable and sheep, which was about, I don't know, about five miles in that direction. And we sold it up because the neighbouring power station wanted to buy a lot more of our yard, use it for their own space. So they wanted that, and they wanted some of the land around it. So we got a great deal, so we took it. And then we were on the lookout for some more space. Really, we bought this primarily. It wasn't as much as we wanted. We've got in the region about 150 acres right now of our own land. We do a little bit of contract work here and there as well, but nothing to write home about. And we're trying to increase this up slowly to get to around. We want to get back to around 350 acres. So we've got a little bit to go yet. But the price of the land around here is skyrocketing right now, so we couldn't really jump too high too soon, so we're just taking our time. But yeah, so this is our main loader tractor on the farmyard now. Like I said, New Holland 1 T5 120. Beautiful machine, nice and tight. It's got a front linkage and PTO on there for when we do need it at all. It could pull our drill here if we absolutely needed to with a push. But yeah, it's a grand little tractor, really nice and clean and tidy. Like I say, we've always been New Hollands, and yeah, this is just the next line. The three tractors we have on the yard, we have a T7, which is here, T7 220. That's our big grunt tractor, really, that'll do all the heavy draft work. It's just a shade under 220 horsepower. And that one has in the region about 3,500 hours on the clock there, last count. And then we've got the old classic that we really can't just shake at the moment. We've got the 7740 New Holland. Now, for the most part, the two newer machines, they get rotated out alternatively. So we'll rotate those every 3 years, really. This girl here, this doesn't change. We just keep hold of this one. And it's got about 9,000 hours on the clock and is sailing along. Absolutely faultless. So we don't really see the need to change it, to be honest. And we'll keep running it until it won't run any longer, and then we'll make a decision on what we do then. But it's nice to have. It does a lot of little bits of pieces, a little bit of draft work, light work. It does a lot of hay work as well for us. So yeah, it is a vital machine. Still gets used very frequently. Now, in regards to what we have on the yard here, or what we farm, we currently have 150 head of sheep, mixtures of Suffolks and Texels. We're trying to increase that number as well in proportion to when our land increases. But we're not quite in the position to add any more yet. We grow a lot of hay. We produce hay for the horse industry, for the equine industry, and we also farm mixed crops as well. So of the 150 acres land we got right now, probably I would say about 60 acres is arable, and then we have about 100 acres of contract work for arable across the region really. And then the rest is all grassland, of which we're trying to get 2 crops of hay off where possible. One for our own use, but then also one we do some mini square bales for the equine industry as well. So that's kind of the introduction. You're going to find the camera's going to be picked up by myself or David for quite a lot of You'll find the camera's going to be picked up by myself or my brother quite a bit, and we'll just kind of bring you along for the ride, see what's going on. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. If you do have any questions, do leave them down below there, and we'll see, one of us will get back to you as soon as possible, and we'll see what's going on. This is all being brought to you by Simulation for the Nation, who is putting everything onto his YouTube platform. So if you do enjoy it, do make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow along with what he's doing. I know he's got some great stuff coming along there as well. So for now though, today's going to be a bit of a quiet day, just doing yard jobs, so we're going to get into some groundwork. We've got a lot of field work to do actually over the course of the week, so we'll come back to you and give you a little bit of a ride along. Alright folks, this is Tuesday. We're out today with the T7. We're putting some nitrogen down in the grass, while his brother is on the he is on the 77 working down some land before we get into it. We're going to be drilling some spring barley later this week. So for now though, he is just doing his thing. But yeah, we need to just go and jump across and get into our get into the T5 with just fill up the fertilizer tank a little bit here, so we can get out there and get most of this next field done. So yeah, slowly start to get to grips with the new T5 here. So we used to have a small T6 on the as our loader tractor previously to this, and it was good. It was this is about the same size horsepower. It's a little heavier actually as it goes, if you believe that. Let's just stop that bag rattling around there. Alright, yeah, and then we're gonna fill this up and we can get ourselves away as soon as this is done. Oh, you haven't. We're probably a few weeks out at the moment from what will be second cut, or first cut hay. It needs just to kind of thicken out a little bit. And then, of course, as it's hay, we need to try and find that brief window in the Irish weather where we can actually get cracking. So we'll have to wait and see what we can do about that. I don't actually think it'll be, well, judged off what the initial weather forecast is saying now, we should be good actually. We should be able to get a week somewhere, but you never really know, do you? Okay. Alright, then we are full. And leave this in the middle of the yard, I should think. Come back to that one. Okay. This is a relatively new purchase to us. This is a Kuhn Axis spreader here. You can see it is looking shiny and new. We've got it all specced out, so we have all the guards on, we have the wheels so we can push around the yard should we need to. It is 24 meters, and it just allows us to be able to be a little bit more kind of precise really right now, because this connects in with our GPS on the tractor here. This is the only tractor of ours that has GPS, and it is doing a fine job at that. But yeah, so it's the only one that does, and we need this just so we can be a little bit more accurate, a little bit more precise with what we're doing. Especially when we get to the contract work as well, just so it makes it a little bit more efficient there, and customers do appreciate that. Now most of our contract work is for one farmer who no longer actually does any of his own, but yeah, that's fine with us as long as we get paid at the end of the day. Okay. So in this region here is actually, we've been around here for most of our lives. We've got our parents actually live just over the road there. They retired into a small little bungalow, so they're not a lot far away. And there's brother now. How's he getting on? Let's have a look through here. So we're actually just working this back over again. It was already worked over once, but it had maize in it previously, and it was a little bit, good heavens, they're flying along over there. It was a little bit rough still, so that's why it's going over it again. That cracked along at great guns as well, may I say, which is good. We'll look to get that put into some spring barley tomorrow, I should imagine. The weather's holding out well, and then we'll be able to, well, if the weather stays good, hopefully get that picked up late August. Okay, now for me, I just need to get myself set up here. And just like that, off we go. Really, you can see the grass is starting to grow a little. It's a bit thin though in places, which is why we're just giving it that extra little kick on here. There's a few fields immediately around the yard here that we're going to be cutting down for first cut hay. We'll see how much we get off that, and that will kind of dictate what we do for a second. But like I say, we do try and make quite a lot to keep ourselves going, but also we do rely a lot on selling to the equine industry, which is exactly what we'll be trying to do as well. So we'll have to watch this space really as to how much we get. But this field's got a bit wet in the back end here, so this top end is really bad. So in total today we're going to be putting nitrogen down on about, what is it, about 60 acres? No, not quite, maybe 40-45 acres. And then that'll be done for the grassland at least. It'll give us the first good kick. We'll see what it looks like with the rest of the after the second cut as to what it might need. We don't have any cattle tools, so we don't have any slurry to put onto it to really give it a good kick. So at the moment we do have to rely on just good weather really, and a little bit of help from some NPK. But we'll see how that goes. Otherwise we're on to, we've got some what will be tier 2, tier 3s to do soon as well for a customer on the contracting. And then we've got our own spring work to get done into the ground as well, and then we'll have to get that all looked after. So plenty to do on the fieldwork side of things. Tomorrow we'll see us jump into the spring barley drilling, and we'll see how we get along with that. So plenty to do, and tomorrow is another day. Alright, folks, welcome back. It's Wednesday today, and we're off to drill the spring barley. We've just got everything set up, got the machine calibrated, filled up the tank, and we're good to go. So we are, like I say, we're going to get this spring barley drilled in here. We've got this field's about 13-ish acres to do, so it's not that big. Whilst I'm doing this, David's going to jump out in the 77. He's going to go to a livestock auction where we're hoping to bring back a few more sheep to add to the flock. Ideally we'd like to see about another 20 or 30 with a nice fresh bloodline coming in there, which will really be able to help benefit the whole herd or the whole flock really. Okay, let's just swing into here. There we go. So we have a 3-meter front press, and on the back we've got a 3-meter Lemken, the Sapphire 8, which is a great little drill actually. Again, we have this linked up with our GPS here, so it allows us to function a little bit better, have vary rate applications, so when the ground gets a bit heavier in certain specific spots, we can adjust to that when necessary, which is something that's always good for us to be able to bring in. Now what I'm going to do is start my line about here, and square off the edge of this field, I think. Let's get my AB line all set up correctly as well, without taking out the fence on the corner there, Michael. Okay, get that all fired up. We'll not put the press down for this first one, we're just going to get the AB line set in first. We'll go to the end, we'll come back down the other side, and we'll just make sure that everything's kind of looking like it's in a good depth. At which point then I'll be happy that we can kind of get ourselves away properly. Alright, and that's our GPS is synced in. And then we'll get to the end here. It's a little bit of standing water around there, but this field wasn't that bad at all. Actually, we were able to get most of that out of the way here. Excellent stuff. Okay, and then let's just put the front press down for this one. There we go. Happy days. So we'll just trundle our way down the field here. Like I say, we're going to get the fair lick of speed going because it's all been worked over twice, so we don't have to take much time to do that. And then we'll be able to get to the races here. So what we will do is we'll just get to the bottom of this run. We'll just check to see what the seed depth's looking like, make sure it's all in the ground properly. Then this field really shouldn't take us too much to get going through, actually. Not the biggest, like I say, good conditions, and we'll be laughing. Yeah, it's just nice. I always like to do the groundwork on the T7 just to really stretch out the legs of it a little bit. Okay, so let's just stop there and have a look, see how we're looking. Alright, so looking like it's going in very well there. If we just have a look down here, yeah, you can see it's all established very well. The seed depth is about 2 centimeters, so that's pretty ideal for what we need. Awesome, I think we'll just get ourselves stuck back into the cab here and we'll get going. Perfect stuff. Fantastic. We've got these ridge markers on this, to be honest, I've never used them once, not since we've got this machine. GPS does everything we need there, so that's a little bit of a waste, but we'll, never mind. It's always nice to have them, I guess, in case we ever put this onto the T5. Now the idea is as well that we're going to slowly try and increase our our land of our own. Like I say, 60 acres isn't enough for what we want. It's enough to get a start and keep us with a semi-stable sort of income. But yeah, we do need something that we can kind of rely on a little bit more there, because there's no guarantee. Oh, there goes brother. There he is. There's no guarantee that our contracts will be long-standing there. You never know what each individual farm practice is thinking, so yeah, we do need to try and identify some way of increasing that. Now the diversity we have with the hay business, where we try and offload as much as we can to the equestrian industry, is working quite well so far. We're trying to find a way to expand that, if I'm honest, but we have to wait and see really. But yeah, so far it's been great to us really. Opened a few other doors there. We have a few old bits of hay equipment which, you know, you'd like to update at some stage, but I just don't think it's necessary right now. And yeah, it's a business that we're kind of seeing where it can go. We might even be trying to pick up a little bit more grassland in the future, just so we can have something else to work with. And we'll see how that all looks. So it is quite interesting at the moment, just to see what else we can do. Oh, stop there! There's a fence line behind me there somewhere. It's a little bit uneven still, and sometimes when you go over any ground, you can really feel where the wet spots were from the maize there. It's really digging in a little bit. But other than that, it's going in alright there, I suppose. Good thing about spring barley is it gets the best of both worlds really, because it is nice and dry at the moment, so it gets a good bit of sun, but it also gets some wet conditions. The soil's a little bit, it has a lot of moisture in it still, so it gets what it needs really to really kick on and germinate. We've had some good luck with spring barley here in the past, so hopefully that will continue. Excellent stuff. We'll be putting trend lines in at 24 meters. Our drill and our spreaders and sprayer are both at 24 meters, which is sufficient for what we need. Our fields aren't huge here, but allows us to cover the ground pretty darn quickly, really. And so yeah, we put that in across the board, and then we're trying to, if we are able to expand as well, we're trying to look into if it's worthwhile going to controlled traffic farming, just to try and reduce the impact on some of the ground that we have. But at the moment, the cost of that for the scale is just not there. So it's a pipe dream of mine, really. That we'll see if we can bring into any kind of fruition. Excellent. So we are going to leave it here as we push all the way through. This has just been the first episode. I promise in the next episodes we're going to get the drone out a little bit more, and we'll cover a little bit more of what both myself and my brother are doing. Until then though, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Do come and stick around, leave any questions, comments or feedback you have in the comment section, and I will endeavour to get across those as well. For now though, we're going to sign out, we're going to keep going. It's not much to cover this week, just a little spot of drilling, but then it's going to get busier and busier as we crack on, so we'll catch up with you later on down the line. Until that time though, have yourself a great rest of your week. Do let us know where you're watching from in the comments as well, always very interested about that. And we will see you all later. So have yourself a great week, stay safe, enjoy what you're doing, and we'll see you later.